Okay. And then just in case I need it, I'll go ahead and request it.
Okay,
And,
I have a list of things here that I've kind of prioritized.
okay.
There are a lot of things that this plat needs help on, but we'll get to those later. The critical things, but first of all, this is something I ran into this morning, and it's driving me crazy. Uh, Watch what happens. I'm gonna have to turn on a couple of layers here that I turned off, um, or I froze. Okay, you see how big those are?
Yeah.
When I went to points and went to draw locate points, and I try it came in, they're huge when they come in, and I tried adjusting these things, and that didn't seem to matter.
Yeah.
The original setting was 0.08.
Uh-huh.
So let me put them back that way, and let me show you what happens. I'm just going to draw. Uh, let's see. I'll draw 511 to 514.
Okay.
Now, what in the world does that?
Well, my suspicions are, let's see, if we look over on the final plat, that's them there too, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what is our viewport is sitting at a 1-to-1 annotation scale. So we need to be at, what was that scale? Um,
200 feet.
all right. Didn't seem to have much effect, did it?
No.
Let me get out of here a minute. In fact, it didn't change it. Look at that. Now, what on earth is meant by that? All right, that's changed. Now, this is nuts. Oh, wait a minute, it's saying up here no selection. All right, let's see here. I select the viewports. All right, it is 1 to 200. I come back to model space. Uh, where is, come on.
It's right down there. You can't see it.
No, it ends after command, and then I see the status bar. It says ready. Oh, gosh, sorry. I'm so sorry. It's right here where it's supposed to be. All right. So now here, and there's your setting. That's correct. For that, if I give these, see, they're not annotated. All right, let's turn this off for a minute. Let's try this. Now we had our setup for 200.08, 0.08. We draw, locate, and we're going to erase and redraw. And that was 511 through what, 514?
Yes, correct.
Wow. Let's see here. No selection. In English, 108.08. Oh, well and good. All right. What is our text style? P-text. And we do not have anything set to annotative except for the dimension text. Let me try this for just a quick second. Let me try one other thing first. Uh, right. All right, so here's what I think might be going on. If we change, it's as if that point block, just like your uh, surveyor's stamp and the bar scale, there's something going on, Mike, that is reworking those block scales. And I don't have any idea why it would be that way, if this is what it is. Let me try something here, though. If I look at my point defaults, right now you're using this attribute layout ID of 1, and that's using a particular point, or I'm sorry, a particular block. So if I choose this one, that should reassign that block. So now if this comes in at the right size, then that's telling me that's what is going on. So that was 511 to 514. Yep, there we go. So there's something, and you've got some of these, looks like that one is what point?
500 probably.
Yeah, so that's a different one. So there's something that has gotten fouled up with that point block. And that's the same thing that happens with your PE stamp, and it happened with the bar scale. So that particular point, or block rather, is the one with the attributes in it, this one right here, and it's called SRVPN01. So if we force a manual from file, and we look in let's see if we can find it. I mean, the users. Um, now, SR. Yeah, see that right there tells me we did something. At some point, I had to look at this once before, remember? That's why we called that edited. So if I insert that and say insert and then answer to redefine it, and then I should be able to just press escape. Let me see here. If not, I'm going to put 1 right there. Call it 999. 99.99. It's dummy. So there is the size that would be at no scaling. All right. So let's see if we can't fix these. So that should be 16 for 0.08. So We'll say both from the screen. Hmm. Okay, I'm going to need to edit that block, I guess. Let's see. Let's find PQR. Serve point number 2. And these are supposed to be a height of 1. And they're not annotative. Okay, so we will close that, and then we'll block edit the other one. SR. All right, so this one is also 1, not annotative. No problem with that one. And block edit SR. This is p-text. Huh. Height of 1, not annotative. That one's okay too. So what was this one? What is that? Is that SRVPNO1, correct?
Say that again.
Right down here in the properties. That's
Yeah.
SRVPNO1.
Yeah, but I don't know what that means.
Well, it means survey point number 1. That's the block name. So if I block edit that, I should be able to find SRV. I don't see it. I got 0 and I've got 01 ANO. Ah, here we go. I don't know why it's not alphabetical. All right, so now these still none and 1. And let's say no. Let's see here. SPT, and then SRVPN01. Whereas this one is that same one. This one is that same one. And so if all right, let's try just this one, absolute. Let's see here. Both from the screen. So it says that is now set. I changed it to half that height. So that works. All right, 16 feet on the ground is 8/100ths at 200 scale. So all of those points now should be okay, except for the one I just changed. So if I resize my point attributes to an absolute size of 16 feet by screen selection, all right, so there those are. And what the heck is that? Looks like the bar scales again. And up there's a north arrow business going on. Michael, what on earth is going on? Well, all right. Guess it gets confused unless you regen. And there now are your points. Now you need to reposition those.
Yeah, I'll do that. What's that big thing on the left? That thing.
That now I see that looks like it's round, which means it's your probably your
Seal.
yeah, that's what I'm guessing that. So there's my block reference. It doesn't, where's the name? Well, now your seal looks okay down here. Hutta.
Okay, one's my legend. Why is it so big?
I have no idea. Let's see. All right, with nothing selected. 1 to 1, 1 to 1. Annotation scaling is 1:1, which is what it needs to be. If we were to set that to that, okay, good. It doesn't change that. So what on earth is it? See that? I select that right there, and that
Oh,
is
it's one of the symbols on the
in the legend.
legend.
Yeah, well, it's on that layer, and it has a scale of 16. But even at that, they're too big. That one is it's just circles. Okay. Well, that seems to have resolved that. Make sure you take care of these points out here that might need to be frozen or whatever. Now you're going to ask me, why did it do that? I'm going to tell you right offhand, I have no idea. There's something that is not working correctly with that annotation scaling. And it doesn't do this in my installation, which can be one of two things. One is that there's something, inherently set up incorrectly in your installation, or that there's something that you are inadvertently, unawares, and accidentally doing when you're changing the scaling for some of this stuff. But I really don't think it is, from talking with you, as to what you do to set those things up. So uh, This, for instance. That's the
What?
actual line type, that dry run. I see that's the creek, right?
Is there wind or something blowing across your microphone?
Yeah, hold on a sec. All right, that should be better.
Yeah.
That should be better. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Yeah, I was wondering about these arrows. I guess that's the
Okay,
dry run creek.
yeah, let's go back to my list now. First of all, let me
Yep.
turn those points off so they're not there in the middle confusing. Let
Okay.
me freeze that layer. Oops, I didn't do it. Let me see what.
Well, remember we redrew them on whatever layer
Oh,
was.
we're on the wrong layer. But let me.
Yeah. So just draw a window around them or however many you want to select, and then change their layer. There you go. Now press escape and that'll clear that.
Okay. Now the first thing on my list is the adjoiner over here is a subdivision called a Pecan Forest Park subdivision, and there are a whole bunch of little lots. And rather than show the lots individually, I was just going to put a Pecan Forest Park subdivision and put a leader down here that indicates that it includes the whole side
Yeah.
of this property.
Right.
Shouldn't make
Yeah.
the leader wrong.
Sort of like if you were to say, asphalt paving, and you do one of those little curved leaders to sort of indicate this whole area kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So how do I do that?
Okay.
Leader?
All right. So first of all, this or that label is, let me see, is it,
Oh, it's
it must be,
probably
it's in paper space. So I'll click outside of that, and yeah, that's there. Okay. So let's let's first of all let's make that layer our current layer. And I'm going to come up here to our little icon that says MOLC, which stands for make objects layer current. So now I've done that. Now,
well, that
what we need,
actually that shouldn't be on the boundary. That should be on the adjoiner label.
it is on a join text.
Okay.
Okay. So we are, oh, let's see, we must have missed. So if I say make objects layer current, and if I select that, there we go, we're on a join text. All right. So what you want to do now is to draw, and that's an arrow. So look at your draw, and you come down. Okay, I don't see it as a command there. But if you look, it might be on the annotate menu. However, let's take a quick peek there. I don't think it's necessarily on those menus like that. If you look at, see that vertical toolbar on the left? Yeah, come on down to the bottom. You see those, there's several arrows. There's that one, which is, and you can try any of those. One's like a multi-leader, one's a leader, like, see that second one down?
That one.
Yeah. So if you do that, that says it draws a section of a contour line or can create a leader pointer line. So if you draw the arrowhead, that's good. The arrowhead scalar and the 10th, you don't really want any text or anything like that. So you would say, okay. And pick a starting point. Now I'm guessing that's going to be where the arrowhead is.
So it should be
So
over
if you-
here.
Yeah, so I'd click there. And then my next guess is, all right, it says an ending point. Yeah, let's see if it's, and now pick an intermediate point. That lets you put some curve points in it. So pick off to the side, but don't snap to it. Right now it's snapping to the end. See how it snaps to the end? Get away from the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, click in there. There you go. Now pick another intermediate point. You can click down here on, say, the on this bottom side like that. You see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And you know, you can sort of make that, and then when you're done, if you hit enter, whoa, draw another match. Let's say no, and let's fix this. Why is that so huge? If I select it, it is the entire thing. So now that is, let's look at that as a solid. This is part of what's causing those blocks to go up. There's something about the current drawing scale. Let me, whoops. All right, if I say drawing, no, scale drawing, let's try that. No. No, see, all of that's perfectly fine. So if we were, say, in model space when we did that command here, we would go from here to here. Then I would give it some, maybe give it a point here, a point there, a point here, and then a point there. Just as see how that did it just fine right there.
Yeah.
Should not have to do that in model space. That's nuts. And then once that's done, you can always. No, I guess it's easiest just to redraw it. I was going to say you could reshape that as a spline. PSLT scale is on, and SLT scale is on. Of course, LT scale is one.
I'm not hearing everything you're saying. It's cutting in and out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mike. I was muttering to myself. All right, so if I'm in paper space and if I'm just wanting to draw this, let's see, what is that? That's just my visibility for my annotation scaling right here. So that shouldn't If so, let's see.
Okay, I'm still not hearing everything you're saying. Cutting in
All
and
right.
out.
All right, let me see here if I can up the gain on these. Yeah, you know what? I may need to run this, or may need to head back inside. It was so nice out here. I was going to work outside, and it's starting to get windy. Let me try this one command here for a second. If I go here to here, and then an intermediate point here, another one there. That's it. Done, and it's got that giant.
Yeah, I can't hear you anymore.
Okay, let me go. Let me head things back inside, Mike. I think it's just gotten too windy outside here. Sorry about that. Let's see. I'm going to I'll stop the remote control, and then I will just pause. All right, so I'll turn the recording back on now. Why is this? See, that should be, there should be no difference. I gotta get my remote control back. All right, so there should be no difference in me doing that command here on the piece of paper than doing it here. Because when I do it here, draw the arrowhead, there's the scalar. So that's what it's multiplying it by. Oh, okay, I see now. So that's all right, so they give you that option as if you were doing it in model space. So what we have to do is trick it here if we're going to do it in paper space, knowing that we are going to be multiplying whatever number we give it by 200. See, this is the thing, and I fault Autodesk for this because it took them so many years to ever figure out annotation scaling, and so Carlson had to provide it before AutoCAD was ready to provide it as inherent to the CAD process. And so Carlson sets all this stuff up in terms of scalars, in terms of multiplying by the plotted output scale. So that's why the command is there. They ought to fix that so that it might ask you whether you're doing it in paper space or model space. But
Okay, that is the same one you were using.
yeah, I know. I was taking a look to see if this might be an alternative. Now, see, it's also going to use scalars. So that's all of those things are expecting it to be done in model space. So now, given that, see, if we type 0.1, that generates that as 16. So I need to be 1/16 of 0.1. So that needs to be 0.00625. And it would be from here up to here and give it an intermediate point. I'm going to give it one down here so that it sort of flattens out that way, and then it flattens out as it comes into the text, and then hit enter. And even if that's way too big,
There's no way to click on that arrowhead and change it.
no, because it's putting it together. It's building a solid
Okay.
and a polyline. So it's putting it together, and it's not like it will, see, it doesn't do it. If I select this solid up here in my properties, see, it doesn't give me a simple scale. It actually creates a vertex. So what I would have to do, I could do this. Let's see here. Let's go to the nearest and then do the same thing on the other side. So you see, you could do something like that, or you could figure out whatever number it needed to be.
Well, you're going to need the arrows the same size in both directions.
Right. Exactly right. So I think what I'll do is, instead of 0.00625, if we do it as 0.0025, let's try that. That should be small enough. If I go from here up to here, an intermediate point here, and then one, say, out here. That looks a little better. All right, so now to let you finish this up, it says draw another to match. You want to say yes.
Oh, okay.
And so it wants a starting point. So go off to the right if you're coming back into this one. There you go. And now an ending point. So yeah, be close, wherever the end of that's going to be. And now in the intermediate points, whatever shape you want that to look like. There, there. That looks pretty. Yep. And then draw another to match. So at this point, you'd say no.
Okay. I can live with that.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Now then, my next thing on my list is the title block.
I'm
struggling with the title block. What I wanted the title block to say is, while survey plat, I'd like to reduce the size of that. That seems huge compared to the rest of it.
Yeah, it does. So
I couldn't figure out how to do that.
Well, you would basically select it, look at your properties, and you see the text has a height right now of 0. Well, that's because it is set internally. So if you double click, is that right? Let me see. It's not M text, it's just text. So why doesn't the size show up?
Okay, so there I double clicked it.
Yeah. But
it's got a height of 10, but it will, and that's where I tried to change it, but it wouldn't let me change it.
Yeah, see, you should be able to select it, and it should, see, you should be able to set it right here. So let's say if we set it to 5, but that's, if it were 10. Now these are the number of, this is the height in inches. So there's a 1/10 of an inch, but see, that's just showing up as 0.
Yeah, but it's actually changing the size.
Right. Let's see, something. My units. Well, let's see, there's one thing. That's fine there. Decimal. Okay. Now, so if I look at this, 0.25, see, that's a quarter of an inch tall. And see, when it gives you this number, it doesn't tell you those are inches or those are ground units or whatever. It just, these are drawing units. And when we're here in paper space, that is, if we were to measure this, across the bottom here, we would see that it's, what, 24, this 18 by 24, whatever that
Yeah, right.
sheet of paper is, right? So that's where we get that. If we look at this text, for instance, and we look down over here, we see that text height is 0.1.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 1/10 of an inch tall, so that's fine. Or, maybe your requirements are to be 1/8 of an inch or whatever they happen to be. So that's one way you can do that, is to just select those and change them to be whatever they need to be. So survey plat as a title, you might want to have that be like, well, what is 3/16? Yeah, 0.188, 0.1875. Or maybe instead of that one to be 3/16, that one would be, say, 1/8. And then this one would be the 3/16. And then I would put these guys back down to be the 0.8, or the 1/8 rather. And I'm just typing it as a fraction, and when you hit enter, it does the math. Okay, now, so survey plat of, how did you pronounce that? Oh,
Peckin.
Opequon. Okay. Every time I've seen those signs down there, I always thought it was like Opequon or something like that.
If you're
So
from New England, that's how you pronounce it.
I guess that's like all those people that go down into Virginia, into Botetourt County. They don't know how to say Botetourt. They'll call it Bordetort.
If
All
you're
right.
really from West Virginia, you just call it Peckin.
There you go. Peckin. All right. Cool.
When I first came here and people would say that to me, I had no idea what they were talking about.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. So now here's like I said, we could do all this with individual lines of text, but here's what, you see how, well, that's a separate line of text there, but that's a multi-line, or a multi, an in text, a multi-line text.
Yeah.
And that is at right here at 0.12. That's just under 1/8 of an inch tall, which may be okay. But this one is sitting at, 1/10 and a half. So it's pretty good size. So I would maybe consider, let's putting that guy down to 0.08. And then I'm going to bring it down, sort of line it up with this one. I think this one already is at 0.08. Yeah, it looks like. So that one is over there. That matches that. And then this, you wanted to put down there. Now here's another thing to consider. If I wanted, why would I don't want those to necessarily be two separate items. So I'm going to, oops. So where am I here? So if I put that here, then as, oops. What are we, LLC?
Okay, there should be a
Oh,
PLLC.
PLLC, there we go. All right, so you could keep that the same height, or individually, you can have that line as a separate height. So if I select that instead of 0.08, let's say, let's make that 0.12. And when you do that, you see that puts that in, you know, it's its own separate piece of text, but that has individual text heights.
Okay.
So that brings up where I was going with this. We have this as all these different pieces of text. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we put that into a single block.
Okay, before we do that, you see that second middle-way district, the one that's kind of highlighted there? I
Yep.
cannot get rid of that. I don't need two middle-way districts there.
You mean you couldn't do that?
Well, maybe it was the other one I couldn't get rid of. One of them I couldn't get rid of. I kept hitting delete. Okay.
So now it's, I'm guessing maybe like if you do that and you're trying to hit delete here, see that was a field, although no, that still did that. Huh.
Okay, I see what I was doing wrong. I was trying to delete it when the text was highlighted.
When you were in the editor. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's just bring this guy up. And now let's take all of that and put it into a single paragraph. And you could do that manually, or there's a command that's going to help you do that. And if you go over to the, it's either on draw or edit. It might be under draw text. And now over to the right, it says da, 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 da. All right, then let's look under edit text. That's edit text is where I would have expected it. So, but sometimes they run out of room to put stuff. And oh, it's up at the top, third one down. There you go. And they'll go over, and it's going to be changed. So it's one of the, yeah, convert text to M text. Okay. And now it wants to know, do you want to do this if you group the text or process individually? And what that means is if you process this individually, you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 M text elements that each have a single line in them. So we want to do this as a group. So it makes a single M text entity with 7 lines in it. There we go. Now select the text you want to convert. Just pick those. Yeah, any way you want to select them. Okay. All right, and now hit enter. Okay, that's all right. So we're gonna fix all that now. So now we have a single block of M text. So if you select it, right now it all has the same properties for each line. And if you're talking about changing everything to be the same way, then select it once here and go over to the properties on your left and change it. For instance, the justify is top left. Let's change that to top center down the bottom block where it says justify. Right there. Okay. And so that's going to be top center. So that's going to now center all the lines. Now you see it's centered here, and you know, you'd reposition it or you could, pull this. Yeah, you can pull the arrows back either way. Because those arrows are going to be setting the width of that. So if I keep pulling that, see what I'm doing? It's setting, yeah, right there. So we want to make sure we got enough width to show it, which I think we did. We've got enough width, unless our width is not big enough. If we had a long name in here, we had to change it, then we could do that. All right, so now that we have that set for that one, and we'll reposition here in a minute. If you now want to go and double click everything and change these lines individually.
I don't
So
know.
now when you
leaving it like that, it's not that bad, is it?
No, that's fine. I mean, unless you wanted, if you wanted the Pecan View Farm to be bigger, or the James, Mary Ellen Turcotte to be bigger, or the Own By to be smaller, you could do all those individually. You don't have to. There's nothing wrong with that. It looks kind of nice, actually.
That's what I'm thinking. Just leave it alone.
All right, there you go.
I guess I should reposition it though. Huh?
Yeah, I would do that. It's a little close over there on the left. Maybe pull it down and to the right a little bit, maybe. And all right. Yeah, but just so that though, instead of just selecting it and setting the text height, again, when you do that, you're setting everything. If you double click an in-text entity so that the editor comes up, you see, and now when you select text, what you have selected is going to be changed with that toolbar in the yeah. So you could even change the font, you could change the color of it, you can change whether it's bold or italic or underlined or not.
Do it by highlighting that.
Correct. And so now that it's selected, that's where you could make any changes there. And you see there, it looks like all of it is bold, and that's okay. But you see the bold is clicked as B. So
well, I think I want it bold, don't I?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a matter of eye of the beholder kind of thing. As long as when you're looking at it, it looks pleasant, it looks cartographic, it looks like something you want to put your name on, then that's what you want. Just as a point of consistency, you have a DB space and the dbook number, and then you have a P without a space. And I don't know if you have a particular convention of how that's done. There you go. Okay.
And see, I have it the other way up here, but oh no, I did put a space there too.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The next thing on my agenda is location inset.
Okay.
And floodplain, and this has a fairly substantial floodplain along it.
All right.
So I can let me save this first.
Yeah.
And then go to that where that is.
Yeah. The first thing to ask though is if that is in state plain, and I'm guessing it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And that brings up another question that I've been wanting to ask. Well, I did ask it to you, but it was. Let me see if I can find this quickly now. It's the Fruit Research Station. It's up here. Hill Farm, Martinsburg Pike. It's 45. It's still up here. Oh, yeah, I'm down here. I'm still down here. Okay, here I am.
Okay.
There's Bowers Road. Now, let me turn on the parcels.
Okay.
Okay, and the one highlighted is our parcel.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you a question about this.
Okay.
If I were starting a new project and I hadn't assigned it a coordinate system yet, if I went into say, well, let's take this parcel as an example. If I copied this as an image and brought it in my drawing and I didn't have anything else in the drawing, and then I took and I created a couple of points, if I drew a line, say along this, and then created a couple of points there, and then entered all of my deed information in the deed editor by picking one of these points,
Right.
and then doing a rotation translation to bring the deed into this shape, all of those coordinates, all of those points would have state plane coordinates, and then I could go out and look for them using that, couldn't I?
That is correct. As long as, and you have to remember, it's only as accurate as this information.
Oh, I
And,
know.
you
Just put me within ballpark distance, and I'd have to look.
yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. So, but parcel databases tend to be, as you know, how they get built is that somebody working for the courthouse one summer between college terms, sits down with a straight edge and a pencil and starts drawing stuff in, and they're pretty notoriously bad. But that's changing, as our data is becoming, more and more digitally refined. We're starting to get those some areas even at survey quality. So,
Could we
but
try
yes,
that sometime on a job? Not on
yeah,
this one, because I'm too far
sure,
along on this one, but
yep,
one I haven't
mhm,
even started yet.
yeah, sure,
Okay, but anyway, this is so this is the parcel we need.
hmm.
Let's see if I can remember how to do this.
Well, you could probably zoom in, substantially to where you don't have, yeah, like that. That's probably, whoops, I'd back out a little bit more, back out. Yeah, right in there. So you want to see a little bit of the surroundings, but you don't need to be so far out that you have the whole state either. All right, so that gives us that. Now, what we have to do is see what we can get out of this particular mapping system. So, it's one thing to just be able to get a PDF file or an image, but if we can get a, what's called a geotiff, then it's going to react to the actual geographic location, and that's what we want. And to be honest with you here, I don't have any idea. I don't recall what this gave us, but I feel pretty sure that they would be able to give us this in the right, in state planes. So, because this is coming out of FEMA.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, when we've used it before, it's come right into the drawing.
Okay.
I mean, we that's how we got the floodplain on the last one we did, was using this.
Okay. So we just need to download it, and if I,
Oh, damn. Sorry.
that's all right. Turn your parcels on, remember.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay. So now we need to find out, what tools we have and how we can get this out of here. So we've got,
Here's a download.
well, no, that's for your browser. Those are the files that get downloaded to your browser. Yeah. We want to look, see that toolbar that's, right in there. hover the mouse over, say, the one that shows the arrow pointing up. That to me says you want to upload data, but I don't imagine they're going to. Yeah, I guess to add shape files. Okay. I don't want to. We don't want to upload. We want to download. So I don't see a arrow pointing down, but now there's a print, and that may be how we did it. What's the one that looks like the book? That's 2 to the left. That's nope. All right, so the one in between there that we just passed, it should looks like links. No, go the other way, right there. That's a share. Try that and see. I don't think. All right, so we want to. That's not piano parameters.
Oh, that's sharing a link. That's creating a link to share, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, so we don't need that. What about the pencil? It may just be an edit, but that's measure. Measure, yeah. Or what
How
about
about the print? Did we look at that?
Yeah, well, maybe look at that second one that shows the right. One more, right? Yeah, what is that? Looks like just text markup. Okay, so it wouldn't be that. All right, so let's look at the. One quick second, Mike. Let me see this a minute. I'm going to switch to this expert views. That gives us. Oh, that's the actual flood panel. You see the little squiggle lines for the base flood elevation. Okay, so that's fine. We can do that. That's the actual flood data. Oh, let's see. The risk map was okay. Good. Wow, that's a great tool. All right. So now, yeah. So I think if we print, go ahead and choose that print, and that is all right. So that's what gives me a problem. Click for a FEMA map. If I say print the map, see, I'm afraid all it's going to print this is the PDF. Let's see, map created at 14 to 35. You have 10 minutes to download and click legend link. I don't need the legend. All right, so there's that. See, it's just a PDF. That's all right. Go ahead and get to your folder and let's just call it flood map. All right, so we have that as a PDF, but I'm guarantee you that's not at any coordinates. That's what I want to get to.
Boy, we did it somehow the last time we did this.
Yeah, I think we had just a thing to translate and scale it with. So you've got this boundary in yours, right? This blue boundary. Well, we could use that same technique, but there's got to be. away. See, even if I needed contours, which, you know, we're not, pretty flat in there. See, it's all done in a GIS. Why won't they let me download the GIS data? They let me upload GIS, but I want to download GIS. So if I instead of print, if I click for a Loma map, if I do that, let's see, which I don't think, yeah, see, it's still a PDF. I can see right up here. Well, it's really the biggest disappointment is that they don't. They don't let you get it in that kind of data. If I were to look at that, I could create a format. Which may still just be PDF. I think it is, yeah. Well, okay. So let's see. County parcel data for reference pertinent information only. Yeah, we know all that. A PDF file of any full version tax map in West Virginia could be, okay. Yeah, it's not it. Building permits. No. Next. All right. West Virginia flood tool. Wow. All right. Public expert and risk. All that stuff set up and comes out of Morgantown. That's good. Well, I don't suppose they're going to give us that from the flood mapping. I think all we've got is what we've got. All right, so let's go back now to your drawing. I'll let you drive a while.
Close this out.
Yeah. So we've got the PDF. So where we want it to be, let's go into our model space so we can sort of, we can line this stuff up. All right. So zoom out a bit and let's just do a PDF attach, which you can do several ways. You can just type PDF attach, or you can go to the layer manager. And then over there on the left-hand column, click on the external references right there. Yeah. Right click in the other on the right hand side now. Right click over there in the main window.
Oh,
Yeah. So one of those empty lines, you want to right click and choose attach.
not letting me attach.
Yes. And now change your type down below. It says drawing file. See there, PDFs. There you go.
Okay, and I think I put that under.
Well, I know Tom Rayburn.
You do.
If it's the same Tom out in Logan.
Well, yeah, South Charleston. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
How do you know Tom?
When I first moved to Pittsburgh, this was in '93. I was doing GPS surveys down there for him. He was a Carlson. He was a big Carlson guy, one of the very first ones ever. But we were doing some control work. I guess we hired him. I say we, I'm working for an aerial mapping company up in Pittsburgh. And so he needed some help to get the control surveys in for the photogrammetry. So since I was new and I figured that would be a great way to get my feet wet, they sent me down there to work with Tom. And because GPS in those days, of course, was so new, we were sitting on points for about 4 to 5 hours each to get enough data. And it was usually in the middle of the night. So there we were in the middle of the night, driving up in the mountains, setting these things up. And so one day, now I'd already moved up to Pittsburgh. My family had yet to move up. My son, who now I guess his son's about the same age he was when this happened. He was in his first Little League baseball game that I had to miss. And so anyway, I'm up there, and this is the early days of cell phones. And Tom's off in the mountains somewhere in his truck, and he has a cell phone, but it's, things are spotty. But anyway, a little bit, it's dark already, and he comes down the mountain and he pulls over, where I am, and he said, hey, I got a phone call here for you. And I said, oh my gosh, what's going on? And it was my ex-wife that, my son's mother. And my son was in the hospital. He had been in his very first Little League baseball game and was playing in the outfield, and he got a pop up fly, and he was sitting under it to catch it. And of course, he completely missed his glove and hit him right in the nose. And so he was, oh, anyway, he's, I guess I've laughed about that with Tom ever since. But anyway, so I don't know. Is Tom, is he still in private practice? He's not like a county surveyor or anything down there, is he now?
No, he's a surveying manager for a large engineering firm.
Oh, okay, cool. He's not with Thrasher?
No, E.L. Robinson.
Oh, okay. I did some training for them actually in their, they have a Columbus office, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I did some training for them years ago on some Bentley stuff, some Geopack stuff. Anyway, small world. All righty. So now we have our, we're in the middle of our command. So our page number is by default 1. We're going to just sit, and this is on the command line, by the way. So we'll just say, that's okay for that, hit enter. And now it wants to know an insertion point. We'll click somewhere nearby your view right here. It doesn't matter where, because we're going to have to change it. So just click, yeah. And scale factor, now drag the up and to the right. There you go. And again, it doesn't matter. We're going to be scaling it, but I mean, make it, somewhat close so that it's big enough to sort of be. Remember, the map was, that whole parcel fit on that sheet. So I'd make the sheet a little bigger. Okay, like in there. Yeah, that's fine. All right. And now the rotation, and I would leave that by default at east so that there's no rotation. Just hit enter. And now you can close that. Okay, so now there that is. And we're going to be positioning that and scaling that so that we can draw the floodplain boundaries by clicking on it. So first thing to do is let's select the PDF, and you have to do this by the edges. There you go. So there's that. Now look in the properties, and the properties are going to be where we set the way this thing is viewable. Right now it's at a 50% fade, and the monochrome is turned off, so it's going to be using colors. And it says adjust the color for the background. Let's go ahead and change that adjust color for background. Change that to no.
Look at this title block PS stamp.
Oh, that's the layer it's on, and that's okay. You can pull that down and change that to image if you want. If that's already there. Yeah, sorry, I should have paid attention to that. I'm glad you caught it. There it is. Image, yeah, that's fine. Okay. And now down there where it says adjust color for background, let's change that to off. And then that should look like more like the sheet of paper. And now for the fade, you might put that to, let's maybe make it 75% so you can see it, so give it a little more brightness, or actually maybe 25. I'm sorry, that went the wrong way. Okay. And I would hit enter to finish that, and or press escape to get to deselect it. Anything like that. There we go. Now, make sure it's in the background. So we'll select it and change the draw order. Okay. Now, what we're going to have to do is to move and scale and all that kind of stuff. And I can see we're close to actually where it's going to be anyway in terms of scale. So if you select that for a minute, we do have a scale published on the paper. Let's see if we select it. It has a scale. Scroll that down, and I see that scale is 409.71. Okay. So escape, and let's look on the sheet of paper. zoom in up there where it says map scale. Over to the right now to, yeah, right in there. There's a printed map scale. It says 1 in 9028, right?
Yeah.
So what that is, and this may be a way we get the exact scale. Otherwise, we'll just do it graphically. So 1 in 9028, that means 1 inch equals 9028 inches. So 9028 inches is 752.3333 feet. So if we want that to line up with our sheet at 200 scale, I'm trying to figure. It's not exactly right, I don't think. If I, let's see, 1 to 9028. So 1 inch equals 752.33. We're at 1 inch equals 200 feet when we are on the paper, but yeah. I'm not sure that I'm going to do that calculation right. And so instead of wasting time, let's just do it graphically. All right. So let's do a placement to make this work where we want it to go. So if you choose on the edit menu, let's choose a line. Okay, and we're just going to do a 2D align because we don't care about the elevation of this. All right. Now, it says select the entities, and the only thing we're going to be moving and shifting here is that PDF. So we're going to select that. And then we hit enter to finish our selection. Now, what it's going to ask you for here, Mike, is a first source point and then a destination point, and then it's going to ask for a second source and destination. So we need to, zoom in, say on that northwest corner of the blue parcel there, and just, you don't have to be surgical about it, but let's click. Yeah, that should be fine. Click right there. Now zoom out, and it's asking for the first destination point. So zoom back out, and now let's snap to the end point of that red property line. Right there is fine. Okay, so now there's the first one. Now it wants to know the second one. So zoom back out so you can see, and I would get something a little further and diagonal if I could. So say that southeast point down in the neck. Yeah, one of those two. Okay, and now I'll go down there and snap to that end point. Nope, that's looking at an intersection. Get closer to the end. There you go. Click. Now, you see what it says? It's asking you, do you want to scale the objects based on those alignment points? And see, it's going to be a scale factor of 1.416, blah, blah, blah. So yes, we do want to scale it. And well, you can see that's, about as.
Not too bad.
Yeah, it's not terrible. And you might, you might retry it if you wanted, say, going from that first place we had, maybe using this point up here instead of this bottom one down here, just, whatever. Or if this is good enough, just live with it and then just draw this flood boundary right over top of this.
Okay.
So
create a layer called floodplain.
Sure, that's what I would do. If there's not one already.
What color? I think red.
Well, it's up to you. I mean, because it's going to plot black. I mean, it's however you want to make it look. You know, sometimes it's, if it's water, it's blue. You know, so anything's fine.
And line type.
I would leave it continuous at this point. I think what we'll do is on the mapping, maybe we'll shade it in or cross hatch it or something.
Okay.
And so this is going to be that red area. Is that correct? That red shading? Okay,
Yeah.
so the easiest way to do these when you're tracing these irregularly shaped boundaries, first of all, let's go over and turn off our object snapping. So we want to go to our status bar and double click that icon that shows the square and the little star on over, the one that's lit up. Right there, double click that. Okay, so that turns our snapping off because we don't want it to accidentally grab to something else in our drawing. We're just going to freeform draw this stuff.
Okay.
So now what we do, this is it's sort of a neat little sort of shortcutty way, if you will, that we can shape these lines without having to get so tedious as to trace all the little ins and outs. But we're going to basically draw a polyline, and when we do that, we're going to, instead of trying to draw the curves, we're going to be drawing between PCs and PTs. We're going to essentially draw the chords to all the arcs that we may choose to get. And for an example, I'll step you through it here so you can see the process, and then I'm going to let you do it. I'm going to say, I'm going to choose here to draw a 2D polyline. I don't know if you, I don't see the, there it is. Okay. So I'll draw the 2D polyline. I'm going to say use the current drawing properties. And now here's what we would do. I would start down.
Layer to floodplain.
Well, I thought we did. Okay. I thought when you set it up, okay.
No, I didn't double click.
All right. So yeah. So if I go to FL star, how come there's two? Oh, one's with the space, one's without. So we had one up here. Remember the last one we did with the dots on it?
Well, that turned out pretty good. Why don't we do that one?
Let's do that one. And while this one's here, I'm just going to delete it just to keep the confusion down. All right, so now we're there. Now what I did here was I just typed that. That's my filter.
Yeah.
So if I put that back as just an asterisk, that's everything. But all right, so now I'm there on that line or on that layer. All right, so just to get this shaped, I'm going to change this line type for right now to be continuous, and then we'll change it back to by layer, which would bring the dots up. Okay. But I want to show you so using current drawing properties, that means all of this stuff. So now, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw, and I'm going to go, like I said, PC to PT. So you can you can see where I'm drawing across here. And then I'm going to come all the way across, and I sort of just need to, to eyeball. Let's see, let's make that one there to there. And then that'll come all the way around to say right in here. And then I would go to maybe here to here, come across there. let's just call that one straight, and then we'll come over to here. Now, having done that, and you would do that all the way around. And again, you saw what I was doing, and this looks nothing like this other than, you know, we're on, you know, we see if those were to be arcs, which they will be, there we're seeing the PCs and PTs. So
Yeah.
what you do is once you draw that, you select it, you get the grips up, and that middle grip, the little short one, you want to convert to arc. And as you do that, it grabs it and you move it till you position it where it wants to go. This one I'll leave as a straight line segment. And then we're just going to come up here, just leave it selected, convert to arc. And if you ever need to, let's say if you've converted, let me do something else so you can see this for a minute. Let's make that even bigger. All right, there we go. So let's say that we've, you know, you accidentally do one that you didn't mean to convert to an arc. You can, after it's converted to an arc, you can still hover the mouse and it becomes, you know, convert to line. If I look at that, it says, yeah, convert to line. So, and then if you need to say reposition, let's say I wanted to, you know, you just click in the grip and, you know, show it where else you want to go. So then, you know, you would go there, pull that back down. Oops, I needed to, let's see what I forgot to do was to right click convert to arc. I just pushed it out there. So I would do that. I would convert that to arc and I would pull that back in like that. So you see what I would do is just shape that all the way around. Okay. And then and I would go, you know, take it beyond the boundary a little bit and then just, you know, come down to this, bring it down to this area and bring it back this way, or do that one first, go beyond, do one down here, go beyond, connect some edges on the bottom, you know, to connect the endpoints so that you can turn that into a closed polyline and then you could hatch it. Okay. So I will let you finish that part and you can, there you go. And like I said, I wouldn't be too terribly concerned. I'd go back a little bit. I saw one that you missed a little bit that's probably needs, yeah, like see that big one. There you go. There you go. All right, so now, you know, and like I said, you can go from the ridiculous to the sublime if you're not careful. So, all right, so now we've done that, and we probably should, let's see, if we pull this one back just a skosh, and this one just a skosh there too. All right, now, so we only did partial. So how do we finish that? Now we press escape, and that leaves us with a partially done line. So there's a way to do this without having to go and do weird polyline edits. But if you go to that same command, draw 2D polyline, and right now it's set exactly like we like, so we'll say okay. And then one of the options that comes up is C to continue. See it down there?
Oh yeah.
So just type, yeah, so C to continue, and then whichever end you pick nearest, it tags right onto it as if it's just moving down the line. So there you're going to go, you're going to pick that line that you just finished. What happened? You must have missed it. There it is. There he goes. Now, remember, you're drawing PC to PT whenever you're pre-drawing. You're drawing the chords of the curves. Okay. And if it's going to be a line, just draw the line. You know, like right in there, I would just keep that straight. You know, and then, you know, if it's going to be, yeah. So I would go to that corner. Now I would consider that to draw. I would draw the chord across that, and maybe go. Well, even let's see here. If we undid that, Mike, let's see. I'm gonna click down here and just undo that part. You know, this is probably,
undo that part.
I typed down here, you see that U is an undo. So I
Okay.
just typed U down there. So now instead of worrying about getting so nuanced there, I might just go all the way out to there.
Yep.
And we'll arc that. Now you're outside your property, so you can just sort of go straight down to the bottom of that red zone, but stay outside the property. Keep going over a little more, and now come down south so that, or yeah, right in there. Yes, yeah, that's fine. And now draw the chord all the way across as far as that needs to be. And one thing I see as we are doing this is that, you know, we're showing a flood zone, a flood plain that will, and yet because of the error in the, you know, the PDF scaling and all of that, our creek is going to be outside of it. So we need to make sure that we, you know, either, I don't know, did you survey the creek or is that?
No, but this is a cliff. The floodplain is wrong.
Yeah.
Let me click this. Let me go up here. This is a cliff all along this boundary. This floodplain is completely wrong. There's no way
Yeah.
it goes up that cliff. That cliff
That is correct.
Probably it goes straight up.
Yep.
From the creek, and the whole floodplain is going to be over on this side of the property. But all I can do is show what's on the FEMA map.
That's true. That's very true. So
I'm not doing an
yeah,
elevation.
so right, you're not doing the actual
right
map amendment. So all right, so let's go ahead and just keep pulling our chords in.
Well, that's it. Then we're off the property.
Well, yeah, I mean, where are you? Where's the, did we finish? No. Yeah, and now come down to come let's see if we come like you know, come all the way down like this and then just C to close. Okay, so we don't need to worry about showing that shape on this side. We're going to trim this off at the property. Is that the plan?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So we need to fix these.
Yeah, let's get, yeah, right. Go through and fix those arcs. So you just select it, and there you go. And hover, convert, and stretch into place. There you go. All right, same thing there. Okay. And then, yeah, I would maybe, yeah, I think that's probably all we need to worry about. I didn't realize, I thought we were actually, Yeah, I thought we were going to be shaping this all the way down along this edge, but there's no real need, because we don't need to go way out here and around.
Right.
But actually, if we're not showing this bottom edge of that zone, if you're going to actually just limit it to the property line, then we could have, we wouldn't have had to start out here. We could have just drawn within this.
Right.
So now let's fix that part. So we will, what's our best approach? Let's press escape so that you can clear what is selected. And let's go to the polyline toolbar. And we're going to delete a polyline segment and get that big one down there on the bottom. Okay, or
delete the polyline segment.
It's this one right here. It looks like a pencil over the red part of that polyline. That is a segment. See it right where, right there. Okay, so I'll let you go from there. So click that.
Well, I'm not even seeing my cursor.
No. Oh, all right. Here, let's see.
Okay, there it is. Okay.
All right, so now I'm taking it up to this toolbar. Do you see it after I go off the drawing?
Yes.
Like right there. There you go. So click that.
Okay.
All right. So now come down there and it says select a polyline segment to remove. So just get that, let's see, pick the one that is the first one going outside the property. There you go. Yep. And yeah. All right. And now go up and get the other one now. That's right in that area that's just to the right of the word Jefferson.
Jefferson. Oh.
Yeah. So we're basically getting rid of that bottom piece. There you go. All right. Now you can get that one up there at the that big closing one on the east.
This one.
Yeah. Okay, now hit enter to finish. And you can select that bottom, the long part that we left down below. You can just select it and delete it.
Let me, I don't want to answer this. Let me push stop ringing.
Okay, sure.
Okay, go ahead. Now tell me again.
Go ahead and press escape so we can get out of the command.
Okay.
Now select that bottom line that right there. Get rid of that. Okay. Now you can turn that. Oh, there's another one we need to get rid of. Yeah. Okay. Now you can turn that layer off. I think that's the only one, although it's on images. Let's go back to that. There you go, to that layer control. And let's make one.
Just for laughs, let me show you what that topo looks like.
Okay. Is this the one that they gave you?
Yes.
Didn't we put it in there the other day?
Yeah. Yeah. You can see there's no way.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, about for the floodplain. Yeah.
Yeah. There's.
Yeah. It doesn't even look like.
I don't think there's a floodplain there, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. It doesn't look like there would be.
But there is on the map, so legally we have to.
Exactly. Oh, I know.
Or they have to do a floodplain study.
Right.
Okay, let me get back here and turn that off. Freeze that again.
Yeah, and I would make a. I would make a layer called image _ flood, and then move this PDF to that one, because you might have another, you might have the location map you might want to put on image, So you don't want to have to.
Okay, so make a new one called image.
Yeah, I'd make a new one and call it image underscore flood. There you go. And then I would freeze that, right? You can go ahead and freeze it now. There you go. And then close that and then select your PDF. And you may now change that layer. Now that's one, yeah, there's your image flood. All right. And now press escape so you know you need that selected. Now, so that's one way to turn that image on and off. You know, you can also go back to this layer manager thing. You can find there's your flood map and see where it says loaded. You could right click that and choose unload. That would do the same thing without freezing the layer, but you know, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Now, what we need to do to make this fit a little better. Well, what happened there? Oh, okay. Makes sense. All right, so we need to project that down onto here. So we are going to extend, we're going to extend that blue line to this red line. So we want to either choose the command extend first, or we select that red line and choose extend.
Select red line.
Yeah. Now right click and choose extend. Yeah, you always select that target first, okay? And now it says select the entity to extend. So click on the endmost, there you go. Now you may, and see it also says, or you can shift select to trim. Yeah. So leave everything just like it is. Don't hit escape or anything, but zoom out and then zoom up to that right-hand edge. So now, if something is sticking over, remember we're saying trim. So now if you click out there on the right, you can trim that. Except, no, I'm sorry. Type U to undo. All right, so our command is actually trim. So we want to shift select to trim that. The command we're running is extend. So what we want to do is to trim. So we're going to shift select. There you go. And do the same thing up there. And now instead of, no, you missed it. All right. Select it again and now choose. Yeah, either one, either trim or extend, either one. If you say trim, now you're going to get that. You don't shift click, you just click it because you're trimming it off. Now, see down where near 0.401, where that other end of the flood zone is? There you go. Yes, there you're not in the, it doesn't go all the way to it. So in this case, we want to extend, and you see the command line says shift select to extend. There you go. Perfect. We're done. All right. Now we're going to select where we will, you know, at some point we're going to select those two lines and change their line style to be that by layer and all that. But for now, let's set the, do we want to show that as a crosshatch area, or how do you want to show that?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. So the easiest way to do this, because there's other stuff already drawn, is let's select those two blue lines and the boundary line. You can just pick on them individually. There's one, there's two, and then the red boundary line, there's three. Okay, now we're going to do what's called isolating these objects. And there is up on the toolbar for the layers, all the way out to the right. Yeah, so no, I mean on just that one toolbar. Yeah, right in there. You almost had it. No, go back. It's right. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You see the one that shows the black? See, that means to hide, but we're not going to hide. We want to do isolate. So we click that. Okay, and okay, now it's going to make us pick them again. I'm sorry, I thought it was going to let us pre-select. All right, so we pick that one and that one and that one. Now we hit enter. Okay, so now we got everything cleaned out. We're going to just draw our hatching. So let's, right now though, our line weight is going to draw a hatch that's really super fat. So look over there in the properties palette and press escape so we don't have anything selected.
Okay.
Click, and let me see if we click there, and then see, I don't want those to be set. Oh, come on, AutoCAD. Right. Well, okay, it's going to make us do it first. All right, so let's draw a hatch, which is either from that menu or from the toolbar. So we go down and see it. It is on the, I don't see, actually, oh, there it is. Yeah, standard hatch. Okay. Now, that's going to be just those slanted lines. That's probably fine. And we want to simply in the that middle part at the top where it says boundaries, we're going to pick internal points. Just hit the button to the left of it, right there. Click, and now just position right in there. We click, and that's going to be where it shows up. Now, here's if we were to accept this, zoom in a little bit. Take the wheel and roll in. Keep going, keep going. You see how tight that is? That's like way too big a scale. So zoom back out. And if you go ahead and right click the mouse to finish, now before we accept this, we're going to change that scale. Right now the scale says 1. Let's change that scale to be 200 because that's probably near what we want. Just type the number 200. There you go. And now choose OK. There. All right. So that would be what that would look like. Now you can change the angle if you don't, if that angle's not suited. That's 45 degrees to the screen. If you want it 45 degrees to that basic, the line here, you might make it close to, I'd say 75 or 80.
Right click again.
Yeah, well, you can select it and you can change some of the properties in the properties box, or if you double click it, you'll get that dialog box back up. There you go. And now where it says the angle, which was just left of the scale, you can pull that down on below that right there. There you go. Pull that down and choose. Oh, and let's look at 75, see what that does for us. There you go. Let's say okay. And now that would look like that. So you know, maybe that's too much. Maybe you want it to be 60. It's just, again, entirely up to you as to whatever makes it look the best for you.
How you get back to that menu?
Just double click it. Probably press escape to clear everything. And then there you go, double click it. There you go. And did that change?
Looks pretty much similar.
I said 0, for instance. There's 0. I said 60. Yeah. Yeah, come on. .45 makes it vertical to the screen. But it's sort of at a 45 along the, if you consider this axis here, sort of the 0 axis. And then yet if we put it back down to 0, which is 45 to the screen, it looks like that. So that's, let's see, maybe 25. Oops.
Yeah, that's good.
There we go. All right, now, so that we've set, and we have, we will, after we unisolate everything, we're going to put that in the background. But let's change those lines that represent the boundary of the floodplain. So we're going to select those 2 lines. And again, we just made them fat and continuous so that we could see as we're drawing them. So now they're selected, and let's just go over there and change the line type and the line weight to both be by layer. And of course, we may need to change the line type scaling individually. We'll have to see what it looks like, okay? So if we press escape so that it's no longer highlighted, and we look at, I don't see where it went. That polyline. Oh, probably the line type scale is too small. So if I set that to be 200. And this is something you just depending on settings, depending on scale, you just have to trial and error this thing. Certainly not a 0.2. Let's see, 1,000. Getting closer, I think. Oh, all right, let's see here. Fine. Oops. No, I'm getting way out of the realm. I can't seem to find. See, that still looks.
Did you mean to type 20 or 200?
Well, I was trying 20 because, see, it's not. And this one up here, you see, I don't even see. All right, let's make that one 200. Say, all right. This is all right. And then let's do this. We'll turn everything back on. We will put this in the extreme back and maybe even make it a, well, IntelliCAD can't handle transparency in the plots, so we need to change its color to be, let's say 252, maybe. All right. Now let's look at it back over here for a minute and see after we do all our scaling. All right, so there's what it's going to look like. You would need to annotate it, but I want to find, and again, you can manipulate these things if you want to reshape it just to do whatever with it. All right, so if I see, I need to find. All right, so there's 100. But see, it still looks like a continuously solid line. So oh, no, it's just dot two. All right, we're getting somewhere. So now we've got these dots. So dot x2 at 0.1 scale. So if we're back to our layer, what scale? 0.05? Closer, 0.02, 0.01, 0.005. Nope, I'm getting away from it. 0.1. All right, so that's 0.1. So if we wanted the gaps to be bigger, the space between the dots to be bigger, we need to make that bigger. So there's 0.2, so 0.5. All right, so we just couldn't see it because of that. And then if we make our line weight, There we go. See what we're trying to do. And let's maybe also put that into that color, 252, so it doesn't detract from our other stuff. And let's also put it on the back. And then we'll put this one on the back. This is the actual hatch itself. So we'll put it in the back again because we put those lines around it. Now, that would be something you could add to the legend, or you could just simply do a call out and call it the, you know, special flood hazard area, whatever, from the FEMA ferment designation, however you normally do it. I think you got some notes in there, so I'll let you look at that. And okay, so that's about as good as we could get with that flood mapping, because even though, and it's a good thing that we have the parcels that we're able to turn it on, we can use that to sort of bring stuff into our space. That's really about all we can do with that, unless there's some way to get the actual coordinates and the actual data. See, if they won't let you get anything except a PDF, then you're stuck. And that might be something worth a phone call to, you know, to there were some contact names and numbers over there in that flood map side. So, you know, ask them if there's any way of getting the actual GIS shape files, because I saw that they're there. They'll let you upload shape files, but if you could get those shape files of all the flood boundaries and the parcels and stuff, if you can get them, you know, might as well get them for the whole region. And then you always have, you know, stick those in a folder somewhere that you would keep handy. And then you would, you know, be able to put that on anything that you're working on. If you're on the state plane, you can just have it reference that.
Now I'm thinking that we use the tax map for our location inset. We did a similar thing to what we did to get the floodplain on here.
Okay.
But
did we do that, or did we?
Yeah.
We can, or did you want to use the is this the one that you had that they gave you the image for?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's just use that. Wasn't that
for the location inset?
Yeah, didn't that? Yeah, so if we do that, and so what we need to do is a couple of things. Let's see, if we double click inside of this main title block. All right, now go to your layer manager. Okay. And let's find, and that's on a layer called image something or other, I'm pretty sure.
Image photo.
Image photo. So select that, and where do you see that very first? Go ahead and select that line. Yes. So where you see that very first thing, freeze thaw, you want to thaw, and that's going to thaw it globally. Okay. And then over to the right now, there's the one next to the printer right there where it says current viewport. We're going to click that so that it's frozen in that viewport. You don't want to see it in the main viewport. Okay. So that's fine. We'll close OK. So now if you were to double click outside of it, that's fine. And now if you look back over at the model space, you can see that it's there. All right. And if you wanted to, you could, you know, while you're working in model space, you would turn that on and off, or load it and unload it, however you would care to do that. All right. But now let's go back to our final plat. And let's go up to our location map. And is this line right here, is that just a polyline? It is. We're going to make that into a viewport, okay? And we'll do that by type. See, right now we have a viewport that's here.
Yeah.
And that goes all the way up to that corner, and that's fine. But we will, we're going to make a viewport that's actually inside this corner. So we're going to just type viewport as a command. Well, you can spell it out, yeah, or just type here. Let me see. If you just type VPORT, there it is. And so once that's selected, then hit enter. And we're going to, now it's asking us for the corners. So you want to snap. Now we've turned our snapping off down in our toolbar. So go back down to the toolbar or to the, and status bar and double click that, the square with the square next to the angle. It's got the, I can't see where your mouse is pointing, but it's the square with the little flash on the corner, on the northwest corner. Yeah, double click that. There you go. Now we've turned that back on. So now go up there and grab that lower left corner right there and go up to the upper right corner. Right there. Okay, so now we've turned that into a viewport. Now, before we do anything else, let's select that and select the polyline. Oh, sorry. What is that? Here. Press escape. All right, now select it again with that pop-up, choose the polyline. And that's on title block notes. So we're going to select that. Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to. Yeah, let's just go ahead and delete that. I didn't want you to get confused because we've got one thing that's directly over top of the other. So select now the viewport and let's change its layer to be on layer viewports. There it is. Yeah, see, then that makes it red. So now you know visually that it's a viewport. Okay, now you can start to see a few things in it up there that are sort of zoomy. Yeah, and so what I would do is, because is just while you're in, double click inside of it so that you're in the model. Oh, we can't do that. Hold on. If we double click inside of this one, yeah, it's still all right. What is this? It's just a polyline. All right, so I think
I don't see how you're going to make the image into a location map.
Well, I'll show you here in a second. I mean, I got to figure out how to get into that. I know how to do it, but I don't want to do it for you right now quite yet. In this way, I want to do this. I'm just going to temporarily drag this up and over so that I can double click inside of that. And then when we double click here, Well, I don't guess it's letting me. Let me change that scale now too. That scale is, let's do 1. And okay. And so here, my central point is 2, 407, 300 and 320, 300, 2, 407, 320. 407. So now here, zoom, center, 2, 407, 300, comma. Forgot what the other one was already. 203, 300. I don't think that's right. What am I? Let me write it down this time. 2, 407, 300, 2, 407, 300. And then 320, 250. All right, try it again. Zoom center. Sorry, I muted myself. Sorry about that. All right, so now I want to zoom center to 4, that should be the 203, no, 320. 2, 407, 300, comma, 320, 250. There we go. Now, I'm going to do that. And whilst in here, I want to turn or freeze rather pretty much every layer except, is it boundary?
Is what boundary?
Is that where your boundary line is on that layer, boundary?
Yes.
Okay, so boundary and then image, photo. All right, so that's going to then look like this. And I would say that the, oops, wrong one. So here, then I would say my boundary, while I'm in there, I want to make, say this really almost white layer, or color rather. All right, so that would be looking like that. And there's our image, and we could even, let's see, if we take that image, I think we can do it this way. I'm not sure. Image, photo. Yeah, I don't think. I think when we go to plotted, it's going to complain, but we'll see about that for a minute. All right, so that's 50% transparency. And now,
Yeah, but now we're gonna have to go through and label all the roads and stuff.
are they labeled on anything at all?
Yeah, they're labeled on the tax map.
But I mean, are they labeled in your drawing? Yeah, is it just a matter of turning on a layer or not?
Well, you see one's labeled there as Bowers Road. But none of the intersecting roads are labeled.
Where's Bowers? Oh, this one up here. Yeah. And plus I mean,
the location inset is almost entirely our parcel.
what? Okay, then we would set it, something like so. Did we limit? We must have clipped that. We did, didn't we?
No, that's all there was.
I got you. All right. So then instead of that, if we do this, let's freeze that layer. All right, we'll freeze that layer. So instead of using the one they gave us, so they gave us that just as some visual reference as we're drawing their other stuff in IC. All right, so what we want is the background of the of our state plane location. And let's see if we do that through, oh man. AutoCAD map has a Bing maps as a map background, which I doubt very much they do. Map. Because, all right, so choose initial points for the base selection set from the coordinate file. Yeah, this won't do that directly.
There's got to be a easier way to do this. I know that most surveyors don't take this long to draw a location inset.
Well, I mean, it depends on what we want to use for our source information, Mike, and that's there's if we're going to if we were trying to use that aerial imagery to show it, then we would have to get that from some kind of a GIS database. But if not, and there's no need that we have to do it with that, You know, I guess we need that parcel map or something. A Google.
Let me look at this tax map for a second and tell me if it'll work.
All right. Because this is what we used for that that festival site or whatever it was. I can't remember.
No, actually, we used the floodplain map that we just did for that one.
Okay.
Okay, here we are. And there's our parcel.
There it is. Okay.
So now you can
So
turn on, I mean, you can turn on the satellite imagery if you want to, but the roads are hard to see.
yeah, I mean, let's leave that off. I think we can make this without. Although there is a hybrid, if you pull that down from base maps instead of Esri satellite, if you chose that, I think they're supposed to. There it is. Yeah, so you're supposed to be able to see them a little better. Unfortunately, the parcels are sort of right over top of them. All right, so let's pull that back. There you go. Yeah, does that give us, let's see, what do we have here? We have, don't think we need those. Don't really need to see the hill shading, do we? Or
No.
All right, and then
All
here's
this
that.
is for so you know where the parcel is.
I got it. All right. So can we turn off those parcel circles at all? Or do we want to?
Well, no, they probably help identify where the, if you zoom out far enough, they can turn off.
Yeah, I see. All right, so the problem is if we zoom in and out to where they're on, I don't think they're big enough to be legible in their location map is the problem. All right, so if I put this here, what do we have? Trent Arden Court, Cone Court, Buena Vista Drive. Bowers Road.
Well, I guess Bowers Road is so big. If you have this subdivision, this is a very busy subdivision, and you have
Right.
Bowers Road, and you have
Mm-hmm.
the Peckin Creek.
Yeah.
So that's
So do you think this would be sufficient, zoomed out enough, zoomed in? I mean, position it however you think it should go in that little inset. You know, does that get us like, I don't know what some of those roads are. See, we can't really see it because the parcels are on over top of it all. I just want to, if you're familiar with what the roads are so that we can label those if we have to.
well. I'm thinking that if we label that maybe Bower Road is enough.
Okay. Probably need a cross street, and I see one there on the right. It's something Ford Road, Paynes Ford or something. Yeah, Paynes Ford Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you've got the creek, of course. So, I mean, yeah, wherever you want, whatever size that you think gets us where we need to be. So that's going to give us a we're going to get a PDF from that so that we can then show that in our location map.
Okay, so we try to copy it as
So,
a PDF, print it as a PDF.
well, is that the size you think we should have it done? Yeah, just get it there and then get it centered as to, that, everything that's there. Now we can clip that PDF, and that may be what we do, but
And my recollection is that it only prints, you have to have it, if you have it centered, you don't, let me try to print this and see what it looks like. Yeah, see, that's completely missing.
yeah, but didn't we? Oh, it's the flood map that I'm thinking of. All right, so that's,
there is a way to get the, what did you call it? The GI, what are GIF files?
the shape files.
Shape files from the county. I think.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't know. I don't know how to do that. We'd have to talk to them, or you'd have to talk to them and see. I don't have any of those that I need. Where's the, see, there should be. There we go. I want to preserve the extent. Did not include the legend. All right, so now that prints. How long does it take?
I don't know. It's taking a long time. I've never done it from that side before. That I've always used the drop-down menu on the right-hand side. I never even looked at that, frankly.
You said the drop down, is that from this base maps or from?
From those three dots up there.
Oh, well, remember, this is whatever, you could be looking at a recipe, this is for your browser. That has nothing to do with this specifically. I don't think, let's see. Yeah, if you said these three dots.
Yeah.
And you said print. Well, it still brings this up. Oh, no, I see. See, this is the whole website. You see all these things over here? That's what's showing up over here.
Right.
Yeah, so that's all that is. Yeah, so we went to this print thing here, and now let's go to that map there. So we have that. Okay.
Well, that ought to do it.
Yep. And it's a shame we've got purple parcels, but that's what we got. All right, so let's now download that. And that's right here. And there's your flood map. So we'll call this, vicinity map, I guess. All right. I'll close that, and back to this. And now we're going to put this in place, although remember, like we did the flood zone, all we have is a PDF. It's not tied to coordinates. We're going to be scaling it, moving into place.
Right.
And what we want to show is basically, you know, our site with our
Still on there. Shape is still
you know,
on
our
there.
well, yeah, because you know where this is. You see, I'm actually in space at your site. So what we're going to really do is I'm going to put it like way out here, so we don't have to worry about jerking around all those layers and such.
Okay.
Maybe. Let me see here a second. All right, so that's there. I'm going to come back to here and let's see what we got. We got topo, photo, flood. All right, so let's make, all right. Image, vicinity. All right, it's now current and PDF attach. Oops. I misspelled it. All right, so there's no my vicinity map. I'm going to take page 1. I'm going to put it right there. And the scale, maybe something like that. Hit enter for 0 rotation. And just like we did on the other one, we will select it. Send it to the back. Change its fade and color adjust. And now we will, okay, there you go. You got the means of doing this. So now remember what we did last time. We did the align command. And you can certainly do move and scale and do all that yourself, but align to me seems to be easier. And it was on the edit menu. So I'll let you go ahead. Well, okay.
I picked the
The
wrong
difference
one.
between, no, the difference between 2D align and standard align is that 2D align ignores the elevation, so it's fine.
Let me go back and do that then. That's on edit.
All right,
Align. 2D align.
there you go. So now reading the prompts, you want to select what it is you want to align, which is the image. Okay. So we hit enter to finish that selection. And now it's going to ask you for source point and destination point. Be careful of your snapping. You could just make sure that you zoom to that point and just sort of eye get it, you know, as tight as you can by eye, and then snap to that endpoint.
to last time we did it.
And now remember, now, and make sure, keep looking down at the prompts because it's asking you for a second source point. So whatever one you want to use, and it, you know, it's not, nobody's going to know that it doesn't match the floodplain if you want to use, say, that up, and you're taking it from the source to the destination. So the source is the image. So you would be, you know, up in,
You
well,
think it's
okay, yeah,
safe to
that's
locate along this line?
that, yeah, that's fine. So if you select that, now go down and find it in your drawing. Where was that line? There you go. Except you want to, you see how it's, well, you missed that endpoint, but go ahead and say, if you said yes,
I did miss that endpoint.
yeah, well, it seemed like when I saw it, the little indicator showed like there appeared to be a vertex in it somewhere down here, but maybe not. You know, maybe it was just late getting popped up. So if we say yes, well, I mean, let me just show you that when you do something like that, if you say yes, okay, so I look at that and it's not a very good fit. Okay, so here's how to fix that. Now you see, yeah, see there is an endpoint in that. Well, maybe not in that line, but somewhere or another it found an endpoint of something in there when you hovered over it. So here's you know, the simple way to fix this is to just run the command again and give it another go. So we want to say edit 2D or edit align 2D align. Okay, now select the things that you want to align first. No, you're going to the point. You don't want to go to the point yet. There you go. You have to answer the questions that it's asking.
Oh,
So,
the entity. Okay.
yes. Okay. Now we're going to do 2 points that are going to help line us up. So what I would suggest, instead of trying to get up there and jockey your way around with those corners,
Yeah,
is maybe let's do this one. Now be careful, because see, if I'm hovering over something that's actually in the drawing, and if it finds an endpoint or so, you know, you might want to just temporarily say none, so that you can get a good visual center of those 2 lines, like right in there. And then that's going to go. Now at this point, you're going to let it snap to the endpoint, but you want to hover the mouse and then watch where it shows the endpoint to be. And of course, I'm sure it's down there in the middle of that, but it's a red square on a red solid circle, so I can't see it. All right. So there's that one. And then I would come down maybe and grab that one. So for the second source,
this
there
one.
you go. Yep. And see where it says, yeah, I would just right, you know, don't, you know, you're a little too far off of it there. You want to make sure you get a little closer. So there you go. Just, and that endpoint, whatever that is an endpoint of, and maybe it's snapping to the PDF, that's fine, but it was close enough. So, you know, go to that endpoint, I guess, right there, click, and then snap to the endpoint over there where it says 59, or you could even type 59. You see what it's asking you to pick a point or a point number?
Yeah.
So you could even just say 59.
And hit yes.
Correct. All right, now let's zoom out and see if that's sufficient unto the task. It looks like it probably will be. Now, that has been scaled and rotated to fit the stuff you have on the ground. Now, at this point, there's two approaches here. We'll make sure we escape out of all that. So the two approaches are that we go to our final plat, and in here now we have to freeze that image, which was image vicinity. So we would do that. And then up here, we would leave it thawed. Okay. So that's one approach. But the other thing is that, and then if you start labeling streets and doing all those things that you might have to start, that you might have to do for this vicinity map, you could, because now that we've used that to create the vicinity map, let's set this stuff off to the side somewhere that's off our range. But we need to do a couple of things, not just moving this, but we also need to move, say, this, if we want to use it. And I say this, I'm trying to get that right there. All right, so I've got the boundary selected. Do I need anything else? Do I have any, like I've got that road name. I don't know that we need that necessarily. I've got the creek. I don't need that. I think just the boundary and that. All right, so you see the two things you've got selected.
Yeah.
Now you want to right click copy. Just up in the, anywhere there, right click, there you go, copy. And then just give it you don't have to snap, Mike, just, you can just go from here, say, and so and then just watch it. So you just want to pull it away enough so that, you don't want it so far away when you do a zoom extents, you've got to constantly zoom back in, but you also want it to be far enough away that you can set a viewport over there and not worry about having to freeze and thaw stuff in the other viewports. All right. So just, anywhere there that you want to place it. All right, so that's good. Press escape. And now, because you made a copy of both of those things, we obviously want to keep our boundary, our real boundary, where it is, but we no longer need that original location for that. So we're going to select that one and delete it. There you go. Now we go back to our final plat layout tab, and let's go back now to in here, and we're going to just pull this guy down to where we got this. Now that's at that scale. So I want to make sure that I'm looking at it. There's that was that cross street, Bowers Road. See, see now keep in mind, that's the idea, you want to get inside this clip, but remember our clip is going to be down here inside of this one. So we may be like that. Now what I'm doing with this one is because this is sort of outside, it's really going to be like that.
Yeah.
Okay. But the problem is I can't double click inside that to set.
Where did that word site go? It was on the blank paper.
Yeah, it should still be on here. Let's see. Well, I'm in that there. Let me get out of that. Oh, there it is. Yep. And let's change its color. What is that? That's a piece of text. There it is. I guess it needs to be on the top. So let's bring it to the front. And why is it? Why is it? Not showing correctly. If I put that in the back, or I'm on the paper. Here's that. Pull this guy back up so I can go back to one quick second. Undo.
Can you put text?
Select. Yeah, we can either do it on the model or we can do it here. But what I want to do first is to lock this. Okay, now if and I'm just going to stretch this out here so I can double click inside it as I need to, and you see the positioning of everything is staying static. That's what I was trying to do. Okay, so now I'm in there. There's that. That goes to the back. Now that shouldn't have any.
There it is.
Yeah. And then this will be something I can sort of just sit right there. And I see right there, that's the end of our map. So I'll pull this up to go inside it again. I will select this and unlock it just so that I can go here and just scooch it down a little bit and then send it to the back. Double click out, select and lock, and shape. And there you go. And you can, you know, throw a little north arrow on there if you wish, or you could show the scale, and that scale is, you know, who knows? It's actually 1 to 2,000, it says, but it says it's 1 to 2,000. That's because we're getting ready to do that as the photograph, you know. So what is our, what is generally, so 1,782. Went from there to there. That's 0.88 inches. Well, actually, it might still be at an inch equals 2,000. So that's the old standard quad scale, right? Is that right? Yeah, 1 to 24,000.
Nobody would ever know that it isn't.
Yeah. So, you know, and you could put, you know, NTS for not to scale. Do whatever you want to do with that. You would probably need to, you know, add some text, Bauer, Run Road, and whatever this one is as well. But you can't see, that's again, just because it's a, you know, it's a PDF. So I don't know, you know, that's Flat Rabbit Lane up there. You know, I can't really see all this stuff. Although that's going to be in the plot. You may also want to we may also want to turn off those layers. Let's see what that's going to do for us. I still, there's that piece of text, and I want that to be up on the front, and it still keeps getting suppressed. If I plot that. There was that word site, and then it went away. So let's see, if I choose print paper space last, I wonder. I also want to print transparencies, but this is where I think, yeah, see, it's gonna not currently supported. All right, so print paper space, say okay. And let's just call it, what's their folder? Is that?
It's E.L. Robinson. Up
Okay.
3.
And we're just going to call this one test for now.
There it is, test, right up the top there. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. Did you read?
Oh, it came up on the other screen. Let me drag it over.
All right. Okay, let's see here. There you go. So that's what that would look like. And then within that vicinity area or vicinity map, yeah, you see, remember I set the boundary to be that gray
Yeah.
looking thing. So to enhance that a little bit, let's go back here, and within this, and again, I gotta stretch this out so that I can easily double click. Now I'm making sure I've got it locked. So with that, I want to, instead of changing that viewport, I want to make sure that it's nice and visible. So, and a little bit extra. So that was their boundary. So 254, let's just keep it what it was before. And I think for line type, I'm not going to try to keep it that same phantom because it's so small. I'm just going to make it continuous. And so that should work.
Didn't end up continuous.
What's that?
Didn't end up continuous, did it?
Well, no, I changed the layer visibility within that viewport, but so probably have to make sure that it's yeah, so it is on a line type says continuous. Okay, so it's there. Now, it may just be that there's a bit of a lag in the updates. So what I'm going to do here, Mike, is I'm going to just, I'm going to turn off my snapping just to keep there from being any kind of
How did you do that?
well, this is, I just selected it so that the grips came up.
Okay.
And I just grabbed the grip. So I'm going to take this grip and I'm just sort of, making sure that I visually, and I'll get rid of all these other ones I don't need. I just want to sort of map or match. What's underneath it, or I would turn it off and just let the underlying image hold sway. But, because I don't want it to look like somebody's done some work incorrectly, right? And we're at such a tiny scale that we want to, there's, we don't need to make it any more complex, that piece of geometry, than it really is. But you don't want it to stick out as being incorrect. I probably want to add that one, and then I would bring this one down to here. Take this guy to here, and then get rid of this one. Let's put it right there, and then I'm going to convert that to a line. All right, so I think that's, you know, in hindsight, it might have been quicker just to simply draw over top of that, of the purple.
Yeah.
Although, you know, it could be fairly quick. Come on. All right, so that then goes to here. And one there, we'll move this one. I think that'll do us. All right, now I did notice that I still got that phantom line looky thingy bop. So yeah, see, it was set not to by layer, but specifically to that. So if I make it by layer, oh, sorry, not boundary is that by layer. I want to make this specifically continuous, if I can find it. See, sorry, that's the layer. The line type is what I want. There we go, continuous. There, okie doke. So now that should not interfere very much visually. So that'll look like that. I will double click outside of it, take this, drag it back down to the inside of my frame. And then that should really be that. We've again got let's see, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so that site is still there, it's still front and center. I don't understand, Mike, why it's suppressing it for whatever reason. Is it? It may be a Zoom thing. It may be because I set this to have a transparency, or did I? Don't see that I did. Image, oh, I bet I know. Yep, I do, indeed I do. It was from here. Again, let's go out to here. And within that is where I set that. Image vicinity. The transparency. Nope. Well, I guess since they don't support it, it's not going to be there. All right. No, I don't see. Oh, there it is. That's what I was looking for, is that, but that's for that photo. So that's not going to hurt that. Although we will set that back to 0. So, all right. So that's that. Let's, just for yucks, send that to the back. But that really should have no effect. And then we'll pull this back inside our frame. And now if we regen everything, see it always pops it up. So I don't understand why that's doing that. It should be showing up on top of that, and you would just, you know, draw text right either right here on this, such that you had, you know, just like we'd had this one, which is actually on the paper. It's just not going to show up.
Okay, so can we just type site there?
Well, it's there. That's what I'm saying. We plotted it, and it see, when you plot it, it is actually there. I don't know why it's not showing up. Like when we do this, I send that to the back. See, it's not actually in the back. That word site is actually right here. I'm going to go back out to my paper space, and I'm going to select it. See, there it is.
Yeah.
It's there. It's black. Well, I mean, it's red, but it plots as black. On this layer called title block notes. But it's just, hold on a second. Hear me okay still? Mike. Oh, Mike, can you hear me though?
Yeah, you not as loudly as I could, but I can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. My those AirPods are getting ready to die on me. Anyway, so what I would suggest is let's do this. I've got let's change space, and let's do a move, and we will select that word, and we'll set the target viewport active and hit enter. And that's it. Now outside of here, oops, it's still there. All right, let's try that. Change space, move, select the entity. Well, I don't want. Good heavens, this is ridiculous. All right, so if I select that and change space, set the target viewport active, and hit enter, which I did. And of course it didn't work. Change space. Set the target viewport active and press enter. All right, now. Oh, yeah. Okay, just simply go here. While we change space. Let's try copy, see if that'll work. That's what I thought. Didn't need to do that. All right, so it's the 10th. We're at 2000. Let's just do this. We'll draw this back like so, and let's just do it over here. We're going to say our layer will be title block notes. And we're going to put some text down of, say, here. Its height will be like that. Rotation. And we're just going to call it site. What is its color? It's by layer. That's okay. What is title blocks? Title block notes. Is white. Oops, white. All right. And now, what did we say that was Bower Run?
Bower Road,
Bower Road. Okay. B-O-W or B-A-U?
BOW.
Bower Road. Okay. So, don't really want to do it through all those lots, right? Of course, that's a different road out here. Let's see. There's Bower Road. Oh, Bowers, plural. All right. We do text along or text on a polyline. So if we draw the polyline, I wonder if it's going to let us erase that polyline after we do text along. So text on the polyline, and we want to call it Bowers Road, sorry. The text plot size, we're getting into this again. Yeah, good Lord. That was 2,000. 0.1, so 200. Oh boy, this is going to be. Let's try that. Below the line, say okay. Pick the polyline. Well, see, there it is, polyline. And create the block. Or too much. All right, let's see. So let's just say 1. So that's going to be, let's try 0.5. Bowers Road below the line. I'll go a 1/2 inch. And don't need to slide, just below. All right, so there's that one. Now, can we, because we just used that to place, yes, we're able to do that. And then we'll go over here and do a similar thing. And Bowers Road makes that turn right there. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, now is that off our, yeah, that's off our clip. We see, it's not going to show it to us over here for whatever reason. Or were we to, nope, there it is. Bring that to the front. Go back to there. Man, that's perplexing. All right. So that should be where we see it. It's not cooperating very well with this image, but we'll try this. There's that. Okay. And we are there. right in here will go with their polyline. And we'll draw our text. Sorry, not edit, but draw text on polyline. This time we'll go above. And we'll choose this one. Oh, that's interesting. Undo that. Let's make that big enough to show up. There we go. Maybe try that again. Bowers Road. Say and pick this. Almost. I think if we just all right. And what is the name of this? Paynes Ford. Paynes Ford.
Ford Road, yeah.
Okay. And how much of that do we see over here? Just the elbow. So, and then of course as it crosses. All right. So back to here. We'll do a polyline. I'm just basically going to go from here up to here. Draw text on polyline. Paynes Ford. I think I'll save a couple of characters. We'll go below. Okay, and select and go. There we go. Now we'll select that. Get rid of it. Select this. Reposition it a little bit like so. Yeah, put it on top instead. All right. Now, like I said, for whatever reason, it's not showing up there, but when we plot it, I would be surprised if it's not there. So if I plot that and call it test again. Why? Is it by any chance? I bet. Let's just, so if I select all, yep. We sat there and drew all that stuff and yet couldn't see it. because inside that viewport, it was frozen just for the viewport. All right. So now, and then, all right, so when this plots, Mike, that's what it's going to look like. And they'll still be able to see these rolling acres, Flat Rabbit Lane, Hopewell Road, Buena Vista. They're going to have to get close to it to make it very legible, but you've also identified the two major roads, and
Right.
so I think you're in good shape with that.
Yep.
All right. So we'll close that. Now back to that. And okay, now remember you got a point out here, and it looks like you got a point out here.
Yeah, there are a lot of aesthetic things that we just aren't going to have time to look at, I'm afraid.
Yeah. So, but remember, if it's something like that out there, uh, just as an approach, if I just double clicked inside of this, so I'm now inside that viewport, so I'm in the model. If I look at this and I see that's a point, and it's on a layer called boundary. So you don't want to just start freezing that, because then everything on layer boundary gets frozen. If that needs to go on a different layer, and then that layer needs to be frozen separately, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Same thing with this guy right here. So in fact, I think that one was on easement or something. Yeah, AT&T easement or ATT easement. What was that? ATT easement. Oh, it's an ampersand, and it wasn't able to display the ampersand in this. Did you catch that? Does it
Uh,
look like, what does that look like you in your list? Does that say AT ampersand T?
no, it just says ATT.
And it looks like the T is underlined, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's an oddity. The layer actually does say AT and T, and I don't, with the ampersand, and I don't think that makes a difference. It's just the way it displays it in that pull down.
Right.
So, all right. All right. So what else might,
Well, how about where do you think I can put the legend?
oh, okay.
Now, some of the stuff I don't need the legend. I don't need the 10,000 square foot reserve area for this job, and I don't need the mapping coordinate grid tick for this job because I don't have to do that.
All right. So I would just do your little crossing selection of those items and hit the delete key.
Okay.
So, well, no, wait a minute. Don't, that's the frame itself. Um, just, just remember, this is just stuff drawn on the paper. So, what you need to do is just, select those things like that and hit delete,
Okay.
and then we'll reshape that frame. Now, keeping in mind, like there should be, and there is, see, there's a line there. I wanted you to, don't be aware, don't think it's not there. it is there, but it's the same color as the background.
Right.
So, all right, so that's, that part is there. Now let's change the size of the frame. So now select that frame and just right there, perfect. Grab it and drag it up and hold the shift key down so it stays square. There you go. All right, that should work.
Whoops.
Keep the shift key down. Click, and then now you can let it up. Now, um, click, do a crossing for everything and do a move and just find yourself some place. If you're not seeing the window, I'm not either. And I think that's a zoom thing. So you like, if I select, um, I'm doing a crossing selection. So I see that it's selected. I
Okay.
normally would see that window. Same thing if I draw it this way, but I'm not seeing it. Are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay, that's just a zoom thing. So,
Okay.
yeah, so there that is now. So you can right click and move. And now what's easiest to do instead of trying to, yeah, I mean, you don't have to worry about snapping or something, but you want to, sort of get away from, get zoomed out here a little bit. And so you can see all of this together. There you go. And then, um, and I would say maybe pull that right down in there. Perfect. And then
And
we'll move that.
then I can move that adjoiner.
Exactly. Okay, now, there you go. And then now be aware when, just make sure that, and that's all right there. I just didn't want you to be sticking over into the border a little bit. Or you might even consider this. When I got everything there, and if you move that, say from that endpoint right there, which I better turn my snapping back on. So if I go from that endpoint to that and oops, move previous that endpoint to that endpoint. Now, see, it looks like it's sort of part of those drawn lines, or at least those two, Yeah, and you got to keep in mind that red line is not really there. That's the viewport. So,
Yeah, right.
all right. So, and then you got your what? Do you have all of this that you got to do?
No, don't need that for this plot.
Okay. Mm,
And there's some more work I've got to do here. I've got to finish putting on this easement.
okay.
And then there's a parcel in here that AT&T owns that I have to fix. And then AT&T has a right of way that comes across this lot and comes back to here. But I can get all that.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
If I have any other trouble, I can holler at you.
Absolutely. And yeah, like I said, if now you're showing this floodplain on here now, now you either need to call that out or that needs to go in the legend. And I would say, since it's only a single feature, I would just put a leader to it and label it.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're going to have to readjust your legend and all that kind of thing. So, um, yeah, that should be well on its way. Yeah, we took care of the title block. It's now a single piece of text or multi-line text. All right.
Yep.
All right, sir.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you very much.
you are most welcome. Good luck with that. Let me know if you need anything else.
Okay. I will.
All righty now. I'll post you the link.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. All right, take care.